Let me save you a couple minutes of your life. The big reasons are screen real estate, RAM size, and USB-C ports. And that's it. That's all there is to this video. Thanks. Now that all the fakes are gone, howdy to all the pimps still watching. Today I'm going to go over why I chose to max out my credit card on an Intel Mac and not the M1. So over the last 4 years, I've been editing with a 2017 13-inch dual-core MacBook Pro with 8 gigs of RAM. And you can have proxies on proxies on proxies on proxies, but as soon as you toss 2 little text boxes and a little flippy transition, now, don't get me wrong, this thing was awesome for what it was. I made some dope COD edits, some bass heavy beats in my attempt to start a music producing career, and allowed me to watch a lot of Pokemon card opening videos, living a joy that I never experienced as a child. Now, this video won't expose that secretly the Intel computer is far better than the M1, but instead showcase that it's okay to have differing opinions, and maybe I kinda like that my computer sounds like an F-22 Raptor. It's a soothing sound that brings me back to the early days of my childhood, walking down the noisy, polluted streets of Moscow, taking a deep breath of factory smog, cigarettes, and if you're lucky enough, the finest scent of crocodile. Nostalgia. Most say it's the most powerful drug, unless you spent 4th grade camp in the gulag. Anyways, MacBooks. The M1 outperforms the Intel-based Macs on almost every test, but why did I decide to sell my kidney for an Intel-based MacBook? Starting off, the screen. Holy shit, the screen is amazing. It's big, juicy, and glorious in all of its power. I've always had the 13-inch MacBooks going back to my very first one. It honestly never felt big enough. I would always have it hooked up to a monitor, and when I used my MacBook on the go, it felt almost claustrophobic at times. It made it difficult to have 2 windows up at the same time. I struggled during school with having the textbook and a notes app open at the same time. The 16-inch honestly really does feel much better. It feels appropriate for its size. Having 2 or 3 windows up at a time isn't nearly as bad as before, but far more manageable. In the end, I'm really happy with the size difference. Sure goes to say that 3 inches is more than enough to have fun. Wink. Next, let's talk ports. The current M1 MacBook Pro has only 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack, and holy fuck, that's atrocious. When I first got my 2017 MacBook, I was super pissed off at the lack of ports on my computer, but with 4 years of time, I've bought many dongles, USB-C cables, and somewhat built a setup for my MacBook which uses 3 if not all 4 ports. When I'm editing, I have not only my external drive-in, but my dongle that connects USB 2.0 accessories such as my mic. I have a charging cable and the USB-C to HDMI adapter for my monitor. And with recent monitor upgrades, I was able to eliminate one of the USB-C cables and use just one cable to connect to my monitor and to charge my MacBook. But I still need at least 3 ports. In the end, it's expected as the models out right now are the lower end versions, and they will eventually come out with more ports once again. And maybe for the love of Christ, bring back the SD card slot. My third reason is RAM size. I was able to deck out my 16-inch with 64 gigabytes of RAM, but this and CPU were the biggest factors in my upgrade choice. My 2017 MacBook could not for the love of Steve Jobs allow me to enjoy my hobbies. I really enjoy editing and just working on projects for school or side gigs that allow me to edit, model, or create some digital eye candy. And well, simply put, it is my fault as I didn't use OS native apps like Final Cut, but instead work with the devil's left nut, Adobe, which after upgrading to newer versions of Premiere and After Effects, my computer started having epileptic episodes, making it a nightmare to work with. Now, I know for the price of a MacBook, I could have built a PC that would have cradled my balls and made me Sam Colder, but no, I live in Seattle. I like my soy latte, and going into a coffee shop and being accepted while I'm sipping my chai, that's far more important to me. So in the end, I wanted something new and better, and the Intel choice marked all my checkboxes. It's a decision that I'm happy with, and honestly, if you're in the same boat as me, just remember, Socrates once said, there's always going to be a bigger, better, faster gadget or something computer out there. Don't be a hoe. Those are the big main reasons. There's other smaller things here and there, but so far I'm happy and content with this purchase. It gave me the ability to have fun and complete multiple projects I started but didn't want to finish, like this snowboard edit. But But when the 16-inch M1 comes out, maybe that'll be another story in and of itself. I'm gonna have to hit up my home and see how much my last kidney will go for. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video made you giggle once or twice. In the end, it's all personal preference. It's your money and you get to spend it how you please. Don't let others peer pressure you into feeling bad. Some prefer spending it on hookers and blackjack, while others prefer spending it on OnlyFans and body pillows. And I'm just here spending it on a shiny metal pizza box that shows pretty colors and will decay slower than my body.